Hi everyone, it's Lisa here at the Paris-Bourbon County Library. Weekly I do a craft or show you a craft that you could do at home with supplies that you might have at home. On this one you may have to purchase a few supplies if you really like the technique. So let me describe the technique and the supplies that you'll need, and then I'll give a demonstration on how to do faux enameling. First off, enameling is a process of putting a coating on a metal surface. If you'll notice here, this is enameled. It has a coating on top of a metal surface. As a matter of fact, you can see a little bit of the metal coming through, and that's the process that we're going to imitate today. This is an old metal lid. It's an enamel lid, but you can see the scarring that's taken place. This is actually very old, but you can see the scarring that's taken place, especially around the edges here. Again, that's something we're going to replicate today. And then I had this frame that I loved. I actually bought this at a Hobby Lobby, and it was discounted because the glass was broken, which I didn't have a problem with because I had a little something I wanted to put on the inside of it anyway. But this is enameled as well. As a matter of fact, you can see the chipping here. You can see that black line that goes all the way around there. You can even see some of the white coming through and down here as well. So this is enameling. This is a technique that I have always, this is a product I've always very much liked. I like older things, vintage things, and that gives a vintage look. So today I'm going to show you how to get that farmhouse chic enameled look for just pennies, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. So here are the things that you're going to need. If you're going to put any lettering on your product, then you're going to need the adhesive letters. Now, I bought larger letters. I did not bring them with me, but I'll show you those in just a few minutes. But I bought the smaller letters as well for the smaller pieces. This has a little bit of a glitter to it, which I did not notice because I did not have my glasses on when I was shopping. So I would have preferred a matte finish here, but I will take it because it's all I have at this point, and we're all about using what we have. Other things that you're gonna need some black acrylic paint. You'll need a little container for that. You're also going to need a foam brush. It's possible that you would need a Sharpie depending on the technique that you use or choose to use. I don't know that we'll need the scissors or the hot glue gun today. We will need a candle or Vaseline. I chose candle because I couldn't find Vaseline, but I had this candle lying around. And then the other thing that we're going to need is about 2 cans of the white matte spray paint. These are 98 cents, I think, at Walmart. So get the generic brand. You're going to need many coats of this. So I would get 2 of these. Also, for one of the techniques that I'm going to show you, you will need black spray paint. I would also get 2 of those. The good thing about black and white spray paint is if you don't completely use it on this project, then you can use it on other projects because they're both neutrals. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, excuse me, and tell you about 2 processes. The first process that I'm going to explain to you is called reverse enameling. And simply all you do, sorry, I picked up the wrong one. You can see this is something that I've done. Simply all that you do is you take your candle. By the way, before I get to the process, this was a Halloween bucket. And since I had never tried this process before, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on something to actually paint if I'm not going to like the process or I didn't do the process effectively. So this is a cauldron. I believe it was in the Halloween section of the Dollar Tree. And so I used it for my demonstration and to make sure I knew what I was doing. So the first thing I'm going to do if I'm going to do reverse enameling is I'm taking a black pot and I'm going to simply take my candle and go all the way around the edges. Now I'm going to places where normally it would wear. If this had a handle, I'd be doing the top of the handle. Well, actually, it does have a black handle. I kept it black. But if this had this type of handle, then I would want to obviously use my candle on that section and around it, because those are the places that normally this lid would wear. So I took my, it was black obviously, but I took my candle and went all the way around to the high traffic or high touch areas, including around where the bucket handle attaches, even some places on the bottom, and around this side as well. And then what I did is I went outside and I spray painted, I think it's got 5 coats on it, and as I look at it, it probably could have used maybe 2 more coats, drying completely between coats. So this is something that you could work on other things as well while your paint is drying. Obviously you don't want to sit and watch paint dry. The next thing, once I knew I had all the coats on it that I wanted, all I simply did was took a napkin and I just simply started brushing over my surface. And the white paint came off and the black underneath cauldron that was already black stayed black. So it's a reverse faux enameling. And you can see that I left my handle black entirely, but that I scraped up my edges a little bit. Here, these would be high wear areas here on the bottom and on this side and the bottom as well. Now, for my first time doing it, I think this one turned out pretty well. Now, I do want to say, if I wanted to have lettering on this, I could take my letters while it's black, not before you paint it. I mean, not after you paint it, but before you paint it. While we're working with this black cauldron, if you will place your letters on your pot, whatever you want it to say, compost, whatever some traditional old sayings might be that you would find on here, do a Google search and it will let you know. Put those letters on there, spray, let it dry, put your 5, 6, 7 coats on it to make it entirely white, and then all you simply do is pull off your letters, okay? Okay, so that's the first way of doing your enameling. I kind of like the way that that looks. I know it is not the highest of quality, but if you were going to use this to put some oasis down in it and a kind of a grouping of flowers, I think it would be perfect. You could also use this for many other things as well, especially if you put a little name on the side of it. So I'm going to put this one over to the side and I'm going to show you 2 more processes. These are Dollar Tree trays, and you can tell by looking at the bottom of them, they're just those plastic dollar trays. So the first thing that I did was I spray painted it black, made sure I had a couple of coats and it was entirely black, drying in between coats. The next thing I did was I put my lettering on there, lettering right in the center as I wanted it. I sprayed 5, 6, 7 coats, letting dry in between the white over the top of the black. And then all I'm simply going to do after everything is dry, completely dry, is I will peel my last letter. This is going to say bread, and I will show you how to get this treatment along the side here. Now this one is done. I again wished I'd probably had 2 more coats on this. I can see a little bit of the black and I can see the circle in the middle. That is plastic, that's not a sticker. That's just the way that this particular tray was formed. So I like the look of this from the side and even from the top, but I could use another coat or 2 of the white paint. So keep that in mind. Even outside, this looked like it was entirely white, but once I brought it in and I started working on it a little bit more closer, I could see that I really could have used a couple of more coats of the white paint. So I'm going to just simply take my fingernail. You can take tweezers if you like. and I'm going to pull up my letter. Now, if any paint got under your letter, you can simply take your acrylic black paint or a Sharpie to help you define that just a little bit. And it came off wonderfully. Okay, now I need to work on this edge just a little bit, and if I want to create any other chipped parts, then I'm going to have to do that right now as well. So I'm going to use my cup and a little bit of the acrylic paint. And I'm using a small foam brush. You do not have to use the foam brushes. You can use other. I just found that this was easy to just glide along the edge here. I don't want this to drip, so I'm getting just a little bit of it off there. And I'm going to take my brush. I'll try to hold this so that you can see it. And I'm applying the same amount of pressure along the edge. Now, mine are not perfect. There are points where I've had to stop and start when I reach the corner and so forth. But I think that's the uniqueness of the faux enameling, is it does not have to be perfect. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen, but that's okay. We'll deal with that. Now remember, we can add chipped places anywhere that we want to. So guess where my chipped place is going to be? It's going to be where my mistake happened. I'm going to add a couple more little places around here. Just using the end of my paintbrush. I'm going to have to turn that towards me. Excuse me. Trying to think of where this would be handled. Or if it's stored, where the chips might occur in real life on real enamel. Definitely along the sides. I'd also like to get some of the places on the inside there, so I am going to, the good thing is, if you don't like what you see here, you could easily go over that with the spray paint. Be sure and cover your bread part of it, and you can fix that. Now, you could use your permanent marker for this part. I just found that if I'm going to use the black paint, it kind of looks better if I match it up with the black on here and avoid using the permanent markers. We could put a couple of spaces here, just random. And without getting this on me, there's our finished project. Now, you can add more, you can add less. You did not have to distress the center of it. You could just leave the outside. You could make your border a little bit thicker. You might notice this one's a little bit thicker than one that's actually enameled. But that's our process for this one. I think that turned out pretty good. Remember, black spray paint first, add your letters, white spray paint, many layers of that, let it dry, and then you're gonna use your black acrylic or a permanent marker, excuse me, all the way around to create your distressed look. And for the third and last method, I do want to show you. I've already put my letters on there. This obviously says sugar. And so all I need to do is add my enameling to the top. Now, I am not going to distress this. This is meant to look like real enameling that is not chipped in any way. I got these bowls at the Dollar Tree for $1 a piece. It was a good way of figuring out if I was going to be able to do this at a cheap price, and I think I like the way it turned out. I think my R and my G are a little crooked, but I'm okay with that. You may be better at placing letters on, which I'm going to show you here in just a moment. You can see this one has already been distressed just a little bit at the top, and I'll show you how I got that top portion as well. I have taken a piece of tape and to the best of my ability have put it on there straight. It's clear tape. You can see it. I'm going to put some lettering on there to show you how easy that is. You do not have to use a piece of tape to keep yours even, but obviously I need help because I am not the best at keeping things even. They also say if you use tweezers, that you also have a better chance of getting them on there. I did not bring tweezers, but I am going to put this just on the tip of my finger. There's my end. Now, I do want to comment while I'm getting these letters straight. If you are going to be using these, I would suggest you cover them with Mod Podge. I would use the matte on this preferably. Even if you just coated your edges, especially on this. This is more for decoration, obviously, because as soon as this hits the dishwasher or your sink, this is going to flake off. As a matter of fact, you can see it's flaked there just a little bit, but I don't really mind. That kind of adds to what we're doing here, the chipping. So if I were you, if I'm going to use them and they're going to be handled a lot, and they're not just going to be for decoration, then you might want to seal them. I did not bring Mod Podge with me to do that, but it is an option for you. I'm trying to get a number. I've seen that on it. N-O period and then a number. I'm going to put the number 7 on there. It was very common for enameled pieces to be numbered. So there's my letters, number 7. I can take this now off. And unless I want to do anything else to the top of this, then this little bowl is finished. Now this one has sugar written on it, so let me show you how to get the top part. It was just the same process as the other one. I'm bearing down just a little bit. I do want to be able to see the black on the rim. This is a flat or a matte finish. So if you would prefer a gloss acrylic, please, no problem, you could do that. But if you'll notice on the other bowl, it does dry matte. This enameling and faux farmhouse chic is very popular. It's also very expensive if you buy it. If you buy true enameled ware, it's very expensive. So what a fun way to join that farmhouse chic group of people. And there you go. Again, imperfections, but imperfections are kind of part of this. So I think that works out really well. So again, I showed you reverse. I started with a black pot, painted it white, took some of it off, and we went to one where we spray painted it entirely black, put our letters on, put the white on, and trimmed it out with the black paint. And on this one, I showed you how to put lettering on, and then how to paint your rim to give it that faux enameled look. I have been wanting to try this for a year and finally had the opportunity to just give it a try. I really like the look of it. I hope you like the look of it. If it's something that you'd like to try at home, start with some of your cheap platters that you might already have at home. But post those pictures to our Facebook site, and we'd love to share those and see what you're working on. I hope you enjoyed this craft, and keep crafting.